The western sector is 2,152 km long of Sino-Indian border separates Jammu and Kashmir state of India from Xinjiang province of China. The frontier between Xinjiang province and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir is about 480 km long. The rest is a boundary between Ladakh and Tibet. The western sector is an outcome of the British policy towards the state of Jammu and Kashmir. These boundaries were defined by the treaties of 1665 and 1686 known as Ladakh-Tibet Agreement and were confirmed by 1842 Dogra-Ladakh Agreement among Kashmir, Tibet, China. However, this boundary was never delimited precisely on the map and has led to several boundary disputes between India and China. Since 1954, Chinese have repeatedly violated the international border between India and China and penetrated deep into the Indian territory in the western sector. Chinese renewed aggression in 1959 and the line of actual control became series of positions occupied by Chinese forces rather than well-defined border between the two countries. In 1962, China waged a full-scale war and its forces intruded deep far into Indian territory. Currently, the Chinese occupation line runs 16 to 240 km west of the traditional line. China is in actual possession of about 54,000 square kilometers of Indian territory, of which 37,550 square kilometers is only in Ladakh area. The middle sector boundary between China and India is 625 km long and runs along the watershed from Ladakh to Nepal. The two Indian states of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand touch this border. The boundary of Himachal Pradesh follows the water parting between Spiti and Parachu River and continues along the watershed between the eastern and western tributary of Satluj. Uttarakhand boundary is demarcated by watershed of the Satluj on one hand and the Kali, Alaknanda and Bhagirathi on the other. This boundary crosses the Satluj near Spiti, La and Himachal Tibet border. Thereafter it runs on the watershed passes of Mana, Niti, Dharma, Lepu Lake. It finally joined the tri-junction of China, India and Nepal. This part of the border was approved by Tibet and British government under the agreement of 1890 and 1919 treaties. Although there is not much serious territorial problem between India and China, but Chinese still claim area around 2,000 square kilometers in this sector. In the eastern sector, there is 1,140 km long boundary between India and China runs from the eastern limit of Bhutan to the point near Talu Pass at tri-junction of India, Tibet, Myanmar. This line is usually referred as McMahon Line after Henry McMahon, a British representative who signed 1913 and 14 Simla Convention. This line normally runs along the crest of Himalayas between Bhutan and Myanmar. India has stressed that McMahon Line is an international boundary between Tibet and India and was agreed between the governments of India, China and Tibet. On the other hand, China considered McMahon Line as illegal and unacceptable, claiming that the Tibet has no right to sign 1913-14 Convention held in Simla, which delineated McMahon Line on the map. India challenges such a position, maintaining that Tibet was independent and in fact concluded several independent treaties which were considered valid by all parties and were in operation for decades. China declined the validity of McMahon Line as an international boundary and claims that the area south of this line up to the foothill of the Himalayan range in the Brahmaputra Valley, whole of the Arunachal Pradesh measuring over 88,000 square kilometers has been claimed by China as Chinese territory. This area has been administered by India since 1947.